Hi, Joe Strazzeri here again. I'd love to talk to you now about the 4 phases of family thriving. A tool that we use to say where you're at, does it need to be that way? Or can you have another option within your family system about how things are working? And what would be a 4-step way of looking at that to say where are we at and what could be different? So earlier on, we talked about this diagram on vetting for progress. The idea that if you yourself or the person across from you or you together or your family are at ease, you have much more possible positive outcomes and you can see more. You're more curious. There are better outcomes are ahead of you. Things you hadn't even thought about possibility. But as you roll into friction and maybe even toxicity, things get clouded. People start protecting and running away from a negative instead of running to a positive, and you're confined on your outcomes. You are intentionally limiting your outcomes because you're doing this in an aggravated state or an excited state, either the other person or yourself or both. And finding out where you are on that is the first step. Where are we? Are we feeling pretty good about things? Are we feeling struggling? And if we're feeling struggling, should we deal with that first? If you find out where you're at on that, then you can harvest hope. You can say, why don't we create more ease in order to deal with the situation? Let's not deal with the situation while we're all worked up. Then you fall into this choosing your stewardship. Do you want to do traditional family alignment work, traditional family governance work, fairly structured, you create this kind of a document, you get all agree on these kind of topics, and then we have a way to work together that's much more in alignment, much better. Or as an alternative, do you want alignment with or instead of family synergy work? The idea that we don't have a rule set about being aligned, but it's joyous to be with each other. We can't wait to get back together. The options that we're going to create are even better. We're going to get together not to protect our own domain, but to create a bigger domain for everybody. How do we feel great about being with each other? Not we've got rule sets, only how to get together. In doing so, then, you can have the document the de facto rule sets through traditional governments, traditional alignment work, which is incredibly important. Everybody should have it. Everybody should have clear expectations, ways to govern that, ways to go through governance. Sometimes you might want a little support by a governance person helping you do that year on year on year. Or you might want some synergy work, ways to make it feel even more enjoyable to be there. And then every time you start vetting for progress again, whenever you're in a situation, you say, where are we on this vetting for progress, ease to toxicity? How do we get hope? How do we choose? Are we doing alignment or synergy? And then is it traditional governments we need or traditional governments with a little bit of joy on top of that? We tend to use this kind of 4 phases of family thriving to sit with other family members to say, where are we at? Where do we want to be? Should we be looking at this? What's our longer term and midterm goal? Or even in that moment? But always remember to vet for progress first. Thanks a lot.